Hello and welcome everybody to NB Solutions Simplifying Compliance Processes for D365 Users. My name is Jason Chung. I am Director of Technical Services. I have been with NMB since 2013. Very recently have celebrated my 9th year of dedication to NMB Solutions. I have 20 plus years of IT experience, PMP certified and MBA candidate. Hopefully my last year of study. And my industry experience is within the manufacturing, pharmaceutical, and food and beverage. Obviously, software development being my core focus. So here's the agenda for this short 30-minute session around simplifying compliance processes. So we'll do some topic intro, discuss compliance, what is compliance, and how it applies to the business and the marketplace. Then we'll jump into the NMB company, the gateway products, and we'll finish it off with a scenario. Right. So what does compliance mean? Well, it means acting in accordance to a standard. So more specifically, supply chain or regulatory compliance within an organization is the ability to comply with rules, regulations, laws, and policies issued by external governing entities, such as state, federal, and international representatives. So in essence, what are the questions you should be asking yourself as a business? Should I be selling products to this person or this company? Can I purchase goods from this vendor? Do these commodities require export licenses to ship out to this country? Are there any embargoes or sanctions on this country? And essentially, who needs to follow these rules? Simple answer, everyone. Here are some examples of some lists of rules and regulations by government entities. In the US, there's some popular ones here. Office of Foreign Asset Control, the OFAC, with the specially designated nationals list, the SDN, Bureau of Industry and Security, and Federal Bureau of Investigation. And on the right side, non-US based entities like the Canada Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions, and so on and so forth. Most countries will have their own lists to be managed by those entities. So here are some common misconceptions around denied party screening. So screening does not apply to our business, industry, or country, right? Well, the rules apply to all businesses, not only to homeland security sensitive industries. So the regulations cover companies both in the United States and those outside the country that engage with the United States in any capacity, as well as all monetary transactions processed via US banks and financial institutions. So this is true for United States regulations. It's true for other countries of regulations as well. We don't need to screen because we only supply services, not products. False. If money is changing hands, then all parties to the transaction need to be screened. Well, we rely on third parties to screen for us, like freight forwarders. Not always true. So many companies make the mistake of thinking that the burden of compliance rests with the shipping or freight forwarding company, but this is not always the case. So the US government can designate the owner or seller of the merchandise being exported or imported as the importer or exporter of record, shifting the onus of compliance to both organizations. Our company operates domestically, so screening is not required. Wrong. There are a significant number of US nationals located in the United States who can be found on watch lists. Again, the same is true for domestic within most countries. Export laws don't apply to us because we're located outside of the United States. Wrong. Regardless of where an organization's headquarters of subsidiaries are based, it is highly likely that some, if not all, transactions flow through the US financial system at one point in the purchasing or supply chain process. As such, these transactions fall under the purview of the US Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Asset Control and therefore should be screened. Oh, we already screen our customers and contact once, so we don't need to do it again. False. New entities are being constantly added. There are many bad actors being uncovered in the world all the time. So it makes sense to say that someone not on a list today might be on one tomorrow. So the best way to mitigate risk in this scenario is through continual rescreening. To ensure compliance, organizations should be best served by screening all transactions at multiple points throughout the business workflow or sales cycle. We'll just pay the fine. Wrong. Or not so good. Treating fines as a business expense creates more problems than it solves. That's because after the first offense, the government will be closely watching you. If there are further violations, expect fines to ratchet up, along with other more severe actions, including revocation of export privileges, criminal penalties, and jail time. And in all of these outcomes, reversing negative media attention would be next to impossible. So there are countless examples in the world of such kind of things, and bad media coverage is really difficult to recover from. So even if you have the ability to pay fines, negative publicity is harder to get by. So possible consequences of being found in violation. So you can see on the right, fines for administrative cases can go up to 250,000 or twice the value of transactions. And your export privileges may be suspended or revoked. And on the left side, you can see from a criminal offense, you can be fined up to $1 million per violation, and possibly convicted and sentenced up to 20 years in prison. So here are some very recent fines and settlements. You can see here Airbnb settled for $91,000 with apparent violations to Cuban assets control regulations. And in yellow, you can see payments related to guests traveling for reasons outside of OFAC's authorized categories, as well as failure to keep certain required records. This next example is not a company, it's an actual individual. Was charged $133,000 for violations to Iranian transactions and sanctions regulations. So you can see in yellow here, accepted payments in the United States on behalf of an Iran-based company selling Iranian origin cement clinker to another company for a project in a third country. So even as an individual, um, you must still abide by these various rules and regulations. And lastly, Amazon.com was fined 134,000, and you can see in yellow here as a result of deficiencies related to Amazon's sanctions screening processes. So they essentially sold goods and services to countries of Crimea, Iran, Syria. All right, so NMB, the company. So NMB has been in the industry for over 24 years, servicing Microsoft, the Microsoft community. Initially as a implementation um, specialist, and then developing various independent software ISV products to support the ERP Microsoft community, and very specialized within the supply chain and logistics area. So how do we help? Here's our guide to simplify your business. We have a series of products and suites within the Gateway family to help manage parcel, transportation, global trade, and operations analytics. We offer optimized deployments and customer support. The 3D implementation process is a proven method developed over the past decade to ensure to meet your business goals and stand ready for the future. So it's a multifaceted and flexible approach that adds resiliency to your operation and deals with change management. So it's a three-phased approach for discovery, design, and delivery. The products. So within the Gateway family of products, there are three main modules. There is the parcel management for small packages. There is the TMS, transportation management, which is for big cargo. And there is the denied party screening compliance product, which is the one that we're talking about today. So for denied party screening, um, quite a lot of things here that are offered as part of the product. So automated real-time screening throughout the entire process. And it starts from the very beginning at customer and vendor creation. So screening can happen um, at the contact name level, all the way to um, the company name and address, delivery address, business address, all of the different addresses that you can have in your system, and all the way through to sales order creation, sales order confirmation, release to warehouse, picking, packing, and shipping. The same is true for sales orders, purchase orders, and we also offer export license determination for determining if licenses are required for specific commodities going to ultimate destinations in certain countries. Smart screening is the ability to choose the level of definition for your screening purposes. So how accurate do you want the screening to catch on to um, to certain names or certain addresses. And there are also like sounds like and things like that of that nature. Obviously, embargoed countries and sanctioned countries are also part of the screening process. Throughout the entire process, there are full audit trails for every transaction and who authorized and why. All right, so we're going to go through a scenario here. And the scenario that we've chosen to present is the sales order creation scenario. So I present to you Alicia, customer sales rep. Her job is to create new customers, new prospects, take in orders, um, create sales quotations, and do all of these things on the phone with customers or through the different platforms that are offered to her. And on the right, we have Benjamin, who is a compliance officer. His role is to ensure that the company remains compliant with all of its different rules and regulations that it needs to abide by. So for the sales order creation screening scenario to be something that we can do, we first need to start enabling the module. So we need to make sure that the outbound workflow is enabled and that automatic screening for sales order creation is turned on. So to describe the workflow itself, when a sales order creation process is triggered, a new sales order is created, details are entered, and once the details are saved, the automatic screening will then happen. From this point, if there are no denied parties found, the process just continues as it should in standard D365. If there is a denied party found, then the denied party found flag is turned on. And now a compliance officer needs to approve or deny the transaction itself. So the compliance officer has the ability to review what was triggered and why it was triggered. So if there are, so which department, which government entity, what list, and if available, what citation, what volume, what paragraph that the denied party found has triggered on. So all the information relevant to the denied party found is available to the compliance officer. His role is then to review these information based on what was entered in D365 to make an educated assessment as to if this is a real threat or not, and if the transaction can be approved or denied. If it is approved, then the standard process will pursue. If it is denied, then the process is aborted. And the concerned parties are notified. Right. So in our example, Alicia receives a phone call from a new company, and she then starts creating the customer information and sales order information to start dealing with this customer. So as she's entering the information and clicks OK, she gets a warning at the top that says validating address. Denied party has been found for this address. So this lets her know that that this process has been halted. She needs to get in touch with the compliance officer to get to understand what this is all about and what can be done if she can pursue or not. On the other hand, Benjamin receives a notification letting him know that a new denied party found has been triggered. So he has the ability from his My View screen here to take a look at all of the outstanding denied party found screenings that need to be looked at. He's not the only compliance officer in the building, but he's been contacted by Alicia, who's concerned about this alert because um, from her conversations with the customer, looks like this would be a very lucrative customer that's looking to place a lot of orders. Um, so they both come to terms that from Benjamin's perspective, he needs to look into further these the night party found warnings so that he can make a proper assessment. But from Alicia's perspective, she has a lot of data to enter because they're placing a lot of orders. So they've come to an agreement that that Benjamin is going to temporarily approve the transactions so that she may pursue her sales order entry for this customer. But this also means that transactions will not go forward. They will not be, the sales orders will not be confirmed. They won't be able to be confirmed or released to warehouse and further processed until Benjamin has fully investigated and determined if yes or no, this is a denied party. So based on that agreement, Benjamin will then go to the approval process, provide a temporary approval process status, and provide a reasoning of investigation in progress. And he will add additional comments around why he has provided a temporary approval on this process. This gives the go-ahead to Alicia to pursue her sales order creation, which satisfies her needs, and it removes the stress and the time constraints from Benjamin to do quick investigation because there is a lot pending in terms of sales orders creations. So for him, that temporary approval gives him the latitude of doing a really full investigation around what this denied party was about, without having the stress of knowing that there is somebody in the customer sales representatives waiting on him to be able to continue entering in orders. So in essence, that is the end of the presentation. I hope that that you've enjoyed. If you do need more information, you can always write to info@nmbsolutions.ca. Visit our website for more information about the different products and product sheets that we have. And you can always write to me as well. Thank you very much for your time and hope you have a great day.